Hi, I often get asked when I'm coaching somebody one-on-one how to do a better fact find or discovery. Most of the people that I work with are really good at it, but they're always wanting to get a little bit better. And how do I level up? How do I connect better? How do I create an atmosphere where people really lean in and share all of the things that would help me to help them? So let me give you a couple of quick tips that I have found to be very beneficial, whether I'm doing a discovery for coaching or in any sort of sales scenario. So the first thing before you ever go into the meeting is you have to ask yourself, is the person that I'm meeting with somebody that I think I could help? Now, you may not know their whole story, but you may know enough to know that I'm pretty sure that the things that I can bring to the table will be valuable. And how you know that is if you really believe and have conviction in what you do, the service and or the product that you're delivering to the person on the other side. Generally, this target person would benefit from what you're bringing. And really, honestly, even if, let's say, you find out through the discovery that what you bring to the table is not quite the right time for them or the right product or service for them, if you take a really good fact find to have a discovery that's really beneficial or makes them think differently, then you've given them a gift. So that's just like a sidebar. But you should really go into the meetings with this feeling of conviction. I know I've been able to help this type of person, this target, with this problem. And so if you're marketing or you're targeting a certain type of a client, you would already know in your mind that you have been someone that has been able to be beneficial to them in some way. So that conviction about what you do and what you bring to the table should be at the forefront of your mind. Always trusting and knowing and believing, and it's a sea of success of having conviction in what you do. So that's really important prior to going into the meeting. Here are some things, like a couple of quick tips to think about once you're there. What is important? These are questions that you're going to want to know and ask them. What is important to that person? And you ask questions that lead into that, like what is important to them. And if you are in the financial services and you're asking these questions, you're finding out what they want in retirement, or if something were to happen to them and they weren't able to work, how does that look for them? You ask questions like, walk me through that scenario for you. What are some things that you've thought about? And they may say, I've never thought about this, and say, okay, well, that's good because I'm here and I can help you think about that. Let's talk through what would happen, and let them share with you what would go on for them. Whatever your product or service is, let them talk about what it's like for them now. And then you start to ask questions. How would that work for you? Share with me the importance of that in your life right now. Have you ever thought about that before? It's really all focused on them. I call it the blank slate method, where you're coming into that meeting and you want them to fill you up with everything that's important to them, not you filling them up. Big difference in that, right? Not you filling them up with ideas, them sharing with you. You're asking them questions so that you're helping them to think differently. You're helping them to look at things. You're helping them to take a pause in their everyday and really think about the things that are important to them. This is more geared of like you're in coaching or in financial services of some sort. So that's number 2. Who is important to them? Family, business, who's important to them. So you want to be asking questions about who is important to them. And then, why? I mean, if it's a parent and a husband and wife, you kind of know why. But if it's a business, perhaps there's something about their business that's important. Tell me about your business. Tell me about why that's so important to you, and get them to share that with you. The third thing is, especially if you're filling some sort of need that you know, is what's the gap? Is there a gap? Maybe you don't know if there's a gap yet, and this is not in order, by the way, because there's all different products and services, but what's the gap? From what they want or where they are to what they want or where they want to be, is there a gap in that little line there? What is that gap? Is your business, product, or service, is what you do have the ability to fill that gap? You're still not really at that moment like saying to them, oh, this is how I can fill that gap. You're just getting them to identify that there is a gap, right? Where they are right now in their life, this is where they're going, or what they need or want. Is there a gap? And you're going to help identify that with them by asking them questions about where they are and then helping them to look forward to where they want to be. And that's really fun to help people do that. So those are the types of questions that you want to be asking when you are sitting down with somebody, whether it's on Zoom or face-to-face, even if it's just on the phone. The other part of the gap you might want to ask them is, if they've identified this gap before, or maybe they've only identified it with you, but let's just assume that they know this gap has been there. What have they done so far? Have they tried to fill this gap, and what happened? Or they might say, I was going to, I didn't get around to it. Or they might say, I tried, and then this is what happened. And then you'll find out things that might have gotten in the way, obstacles that they had, or challenges that got in the way to filling that gap, whether it was time or money, the right person, you never know. But once you help them identify that there's a gap, and you can then say, so tell me what has gone on with that. Can you share with me, have you tried to solve this problem, whatever that problem X is prior? And they may say, no, and you could say, have you been aware of it before? Well, yes, sort of. Tell me a little bit about that. Things like, tell me more. People want to share their stories. People want to connect. I promise you they do. But here's the caveat, and this is the really most important part of this video, and I know it's a little bit longer, but is you have to genuinely be interested in what they're going to share with you. I'm going to say that one more time. You are not asking questions because you are trying to figure out how you can get to them. No, I would never advocate for that. I've never done that. I don't work like that. Maybe some people do. I don't do that. And I would not advocate for that. So what I'm saying to you is, you want to connect with them. You want them, now hear this, you want them to feel understood. Not for them to understand you. Later on, yes. But you want them to feel understood, and you want them to say to you things like, I hadn't really thought of that. That's a good question. Oh, it's making me think a little differently. Wow, I feel like you asked me questions that no one else asked me. I feel like you get me. I feel understood. If you get those types of responses, then my guess is you're taking a really good fact find or discovery or some sort of initial conversation with someone to see if you're a good fit together. Because you're not a good fit. I'm not a good coach to everybody. Not everybody likes my style. Not everybody is at the stage in their life that wants to work with somebody like me. I understand that. That's fine. But I go into every enrollment call or discovery call or get to know you call, whatever you want to call it, or fact finding, with the idea is I really want to get to know that person. I really want to see if I can help them to feel understood. And if they can think a little differently and open their mind and maybe look at a situation that they weren't looking at, that is a gift that they got. My gift is I love connecting with people. So if you're in sales of any sort, and a lot of people in this group are in the financial services industry, then I will tell you that connecting with people so that they feel understood is a gift that you give them over and over again. And so practice it, learn it. But you know what? There's not much to learn if it's in your heart that you really want to get to know somebody and you want them to feel understood. So that's my little sales tip. I hope this was helpful. Leave me a note. Let me know if this resonates with you. If you have any other tips that you'd like to share on this topic, that would be great. And I really appreciate you. Have a great day.